Welcome to Passlight Insights Academy.
Good afternoon to you all. You are welcome to Passlight Insights Academy. Today we'll be talking about circle geometry, the properties of the cycles, and the theorem of a cycle. So as you can see on the board now, the first one is cycle. What are the properties of a cycle that you need to know? We are having something like this, a cycle. So the first one is that a line that divides a cycle into two equal parts is called diameter. So when they ask you what is diameter, diameter is any line that divides a cycle into two equal parts, or a line that drawn from end to end of a cycle that passes through the center. So any line that draws from end to end, from end here to end here, and make sure that the line passes through the center of a cycle. So that line is called diameter line. Also, we have radius. Radius is any straight line drawn from the center of a cycle to any part of the circumference. Any line drawn from the center of a cycle to any part, either to this radius. So any line drawn from the center of a cycle to any part of the circumference, this radius. As far as the line drawn from the center, this radius. You can have multiples of radius in a cycle. So radius is a line drawn from the center of a cycle to any part of the circumference. Or in other words, radius is the half of diameter. So when you divide the diameter into two, the half of it is radius. So let's move to circumference. Any point in a cycle, any point you touch, if I touch a circumference, any point you touch in a cycle, you touch a circumference, any point, they call it circumference, that you touch in a cycle, circumference. So any point you touch in a cycle, we call it circumference. So also, we have chord. A chord is a straight line drawn from end to end, but the line did not pass through the center, unlike diameter that passes through the center. So our chord here is drawn from end to end. Let's say from here to here, this is our chord. A line just drawn from end to end is what's called chord. So this line is chord. Then we have an arc. An arc is a bisection of cycle. What we use to bisect the cycle is what we call an arc. So like for instance, from here to here is arc. From this point A to this point B is an arc. So we have an arc. Also, we also have, let me just label it, this point here is arc. We have segments, the major segments and the minor segment of the cycle. So a minor segment, we have this shaded portion here. For example, they shade this place. So this point here that is shaded is a segment. We can call this place as minor segment. We used to have minor, while the remaining part is major segments. If you fold something, probably you fold a book into 2 or 3 parts. That point of folding that books is what we call segment. So that is what we have now. We have segments, we have radius, and circumference. These are the key properties of a cycle that you need to understand. The next one that you need to understand is tangent in a cycle. A tangent in a cycle is any straight line that touches the external part of the circumference. So now, let's start with our main focus. WAEC focus, JAM focus, and NECO, and most external examinations too that we're having. Circle geometry. Most students used to run away from circle geometry, and it's very easy. But here, on this video, we'll be able to give you the trick to know how to solve circle geometry. So on circle geometry, these are the theorems that we have. We understand that geometry is the study of shapes. But here now, circle geometry done basically on diagram of a cycle. So as you can see it on the board here now, circle geometry. So what are the theorems that we have in a cycle? Number one, we have what you understand by chord theorem. Chord theorem. Number two, we have what you know as circumference theorem. Circumference theorem. Number three, we have what you know as semicircle theorem. Semicircle theorem. Number four, we have what you know as segment theorem. Number five, we have what you know as cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Number six, we have what you know as tangent theorem. So look at these things that we're having on the board. As you can see, these are the theorems that we have in a cycle. And every student must find means to understand all these theorems. For example, the first one, chord theorem. Chord theorem has only one theorem. This one is having one. As you can see it now. So this one is having one. Let me just clean this line. So this one is having one theorem. Circumference theorem is also having one. Semicircle 2 is also having one theorem. Segment theorem 2 is also having one theorem. Cyclic quadrilateral theorem is having two. Then tangent theorem is having three theorems. So the summation of all these theorems together is 3, 4, 6, 9. We're having 9 theorems all together. So all students must find means to understand all these theorems before you can be able to interpret equations on circle geometry. Chord theorem states that a line drawn from the center, just as a phone, from the center of a cycle to bisect the chord, is perpendicular to the chord. As the first theorem that we have in a cycle, you can see it on the board. I say that a line drawn from the center of a cycle, can just draw a cycle. This is our cycle here. This is cycle. Now let's say this is our chord. This is a chord. Chord AB. This is a chord AB. So a line drawn from the center, let's assume this is the center of a cycle. A line drawn from the center of a cycle to bisect the chord. Have you seen this now? To bisect from the center of the cycle to bisect the chord. This is the chord. A to B is the chord. It's perpendicular to the chord. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. So meaning that a line, angle on a straight line is 180 degrees. So if you bisect it, here is 90 degrees, here is 90 degrees. So any line drawn from there like this. As I told you earlier, a line drawn from the center of a cycle to any part of the circumference is radius. A line drawn from the center of the cycle to any part of the circumference is radius. So this is our L, the length of the chord. This is another L, another length of the chord. So the total length of the chord is from here to here, because our chord starts from A to B, not C to D. Please note that in every exams. Chord is from A to B. This is a chord, 2L. So this is the diagram that we are having to get our chord. And when you see a question like this in mathematics, we use Pythagoras theorem. So as you can see, if I want to get the L, if you bring one of the diagram out this way, this is the diagram this way and this way. So the L, the small L, this is the height. Let's use as the height. Or you can use as the height, you can use as the distance. But the distance from the center of the cycle to bisect the chord. So we have the radius. This is the radius. So if I want to get, probably I want to get the radius or any one of them, where is the angle located? This is the angle here. This is the angle here. So normally we are using Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem states that the square of the longest side which one is the longest side? R square by Pythagoras theorem is equals to the sum of the square of the other two sides. I told you can use D, you can use H for your distance from the center to bisect the chord. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you.